Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sly here with Flo. And Flo, Greg Olsen, 95.7 the game. And these last few days, we've seen a lot of shots at Purdy from players, the media, fans. Greg Olsen, a guy that studies the game, he said some really interesting stuff about Purdy, stuff that we talk about, but a lot of the media doesn't even talk about. Check this clip out real quick, and we'll talk about it.
Now, because you played it, you're friends with CMC. What are some of the things that maybe the novice on their couch doesn't pick up on? What are the guys behind the scenes saying about this guy, which proves to you he's got it?
I think the two biggest things that stand out when you watch the tape and you really kind of dive into this offense, I think, well, before that, I think there's a lazy narrative out there that just because you have a great coach, which obviously Kyle Shanahan is, and just because who also is a great play caller, and then also because you're surrounded by really good talent, that somehow that minimizes the type of player that you are. And I think throughout history we haven't really applied the same guidelines to other really, right? And we never held it against Kurt Warner. He's a Hall of Famer, rightfully so. No one ever said, yeah, but he had a Hall of Fame left tackle. Okay, so does Purdy. He had two Hall of Fame receivers. He had a Hall of Fame running back. So, Peyton Manning played with some of the best wide receivers in history. For whatever reason, everyone loves to use that against Purdy. So I think that narrative hopefully starts to play itself out because all the kid does is play at a high level since he took over. But back to the original point, I think the two biggest things that stand out, he's an elite processor. He is able to eliminate reads. He's able to eliminate sides of the field based on coverage. He is a really, really quick processor of information, which allows him to make fast decisions and get the ball to the appropriate place on time, which then leads to obviously the big yards after catch, which is accuracy and delivering the ball on time while the guy is open and allowing him to run. So I think that's number one. And then I think on number two, of all the great things San Francisco does really on both sides of the ball, and they're obviously, at the top of the list in pretty much every category, they're middle of, with the exception of Trent Williams, it's a middle of the road offensive line pass protection wise. They're by no means bad, right, but they're not one of these like dominant offensive lines from the drop back pass standpoint. I think Brock Purdy has done a unbelievable job playing from dirty pockets, playing with pressure, playing with guys at his feet. He leads almost every category in the league: yards per attempt, completion percentage, all the important metrics under pressure. And I think most quarterbacks in this league operate at a clean pocket pretty well. I mean, if they couldn't do that, they wouldn't be in the league. But, man, his ability to operate from a messy pocket, his ability to make off-platform throws, his ability to keep his eyes downfield when protection's not perfect, I think that is another element that kind of separates him from a lot of young guys around the league.
All right, man. Greg Olsen, he nailed it. He nailed it. That last part that no one likes talking about. He said it. We do not have the best offensive line. Other than Trent Williams, it's a bunch of dudes. Last time I checked on PFF, I think we were ranked like 24, 25 in PFF, the O-line, and without Trent Williams, we could be one of the worst offensive lines in the game. But the fact that he's able to notice this, I was pretty pumped up. Like, all right, finally someone in the media is saying, hey, these guys don't have a good O-line, and he's still looking good out there. And he was talking about everything from the processing, from all that baloney going on, how, he has weapons, even though all these other great quarterbacks had weapons too. But what do you think about everything that he said, man?
Yeah, man. Greg Olsen, man, he knows his stuff. This isn't the first time we've actually taken a look at something he said about actually Brock Purdy in general. One thing I gotta say for Greg Olsen, man, he has to go tell his boy Cam Newton this stuff too, because man, Cam Newton's always taking shots at Purdy, but Greg Olsen, he understands the game truly. And yeah, he pretty much hit the nail on the head. How much better Brock Purdy could be if we did have an elite offensive line. Obviously, we have the best left tackle in the game in Trent Williams, like you said. Left guard's still pretty okay, decent too, when we do have Banks in there. But the rest of it, man, it's kind of horrific at times. Me and you, I know I hold my breath a lot of the times that he's back there kind of scrambling around just to make sure he doesn't take a sack. But luckily, this guy gets the ball out so quickly that rarely does happen. And the rest of the segment that he said on Purdy, man, he's right, man. This guy's just such a great processor of the game. He's just able to freaking understand when plays won't work. He's just like, I'm not even going to worry about the side of the field, essentially, because I can see how this defense is lined up. They're pretty much going to take this away, so let me just get what the defense is getting me. And he doesn't like freaking forcing things either. He's smart about his decision-making. He'll take the shots when it's there, but he's not going to force it. Brett Favre, who people were like, oh, he's kind of like Brett Favre. No, he's not. Brett Favre would always freaking throw that thing through tight windows, try to force it. He had the arm strength, but that freaking cost him a lot of chances in the postseason. I don't think Brock Purdy's going to have that same kind of issue as Brett Favre.
Yeah, after week 1 against the Steelers, I was making video after video about the offensive line. Like, dude, the offensive line is not good at all, and he's still looking good out there. And I'm glad that he said it, because I'm like, dude, when someone in the media gonna like say, hey man, this guy's doing this with the offensive line that's not that great. And I love it that these guys that watch the game of football, that know the game of football, they're pointing things out that the casual fans are just not doing at all. So hearing this, I'm pretty pumped up, because earlier today we heard the story with a person from what is the Rich Eisen show, Trask, that lady Trask, that was saying that there's 7 great quarterbacks in the playoffs, and then there's Brock Purdy. So I mean, you're just hearing stuff after stuff about this guy, but the guys out there that watch the film, that a lot of them that played the game, are just saying the exact opposite. They're noticing stuff that like me and you have been talking about for the longest time, and the stuff exactly so true about Kurt Warner, man, who had an amazing left tackle, 2 Hall of Fame receivers, Hall of Fame running back, and no one ever, his first year when he went to go that Super Bowl, ever said anything negative about him like that. Like, at least that I know of. I know the social media wasn't around back then the way it is now, but still, we weren't seeing that on ESPN. I swear I was always watching that, and they were just praising, oh my gosh, the greatest show on turf. Is this the greatest offense of all time? Just all these amazing things. But with Purdy, man, it's not happening with the media. At least most of the media, the talking heads out there, they're just not going to give him any of the credit. So hearing Greg Olsen talk like this, man, it really pumped me up. And like, okay, hearing these smart dudes, the Mike Holmgrens of the world, Greg Olsens, Greg Cosell, all these guys that study the game, that they're able to notice stuff like this, like, it really, it's a good refresher, man.
Yeah, man. And I think it has to deal with just the way the media is kind of constructed now. Now they're all kind of like Skip Bayless, where they just try to have that hot take where they're going to like go for negativity, Because back then, early on, like you said, Kurt Warner, it wasn't really that kind of media. They actually would truly study the film and stuff like that. So it's just the media.
Now it's like kind of hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes. They're going to try to poke the bear, try to get players unrattled. But luckily, Brock Purdy, he doesn't get unrattled, because people have been going after this kid for a while now. He doesn't let it freaking get to him. He just uses it as motivation. That's a great thing about Brock Purdy. I'm pretty sure this is going to be something else. He's going to be like, well, obviously this is a good take, but the media this week has been going after him. He's going to throw that in the back of his mind, Tom Brady-esque, and he's like, look, I'm going to prove you guys wrong.
And I like Greg Olsen, man. I know he was talking later on on 95.7 game. He's like, the one fans that hate me the most, it's 49er fans. And I was looking at the comments. They're like, yeah, we hate Greg Olsen. Personally, I've always liked Greg Olsen, but I know Niner fans for some reason just can't stand the guy. I don't know why. Maybe they say that he's a Niner hater or whatever, maybe, but I think he has some good takes. When he talked about a few weeks ago when he was doing the game and he was talking to his buddy Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold was talking about, dropped a nugget, and he went on Colin Cowherd, and he was like, dude, like, he told me, Sam Darnold's like, dude, this guy is like the most elite processor you ever see. Like, he knows exactly when to throw the ball before the guy even turns on his routes. He was saying all these like great nuggets. I was like, all right, like, great, this is awesome stuff. But I guess 49ers fans are so, F you, man, get the hell out of here, Greg, you suck. So it's kind of funny there, but I mean, he just brings up great points, man. The offensive line, the quick processing, the talent around him, but still, someone's got to throw that damn ball. And we just haven't had a dude like Jimmy G, Mullins, Beathard. None of them were even close to making the damn Pro Bowl. None of them came even light years away from MVP candidate, almost winning the damn thing. Like, Jimmy G never came close. Even that year in 2019, how many touchdowns did he have? 20-something. He still wasn't even close. He was like 6th, 7th in the Pro Bowl voting. So it's absolutely insane that you're going to come here and say all this stuff like that lady today was saying. So I'm just glad that there are still there's still quite a few people. I know most people are kind of like, have that feeling like, oh yeah, he's the worst quarterback in this playoffs and all this stuff that's going on. But I like that these smart dudes are really on top of it.
Yeah, man. But hey, it is what it is. This week, Brock Purdy's going to show out. He's going to show the rest of these guys in the media that, hey, I'm legit. These guys who actually understand the game, they've been saying it all along. Time for you guys to start seeing it.
Yep, but that's what we got, man. Let us know what you think about this. You agree with Greg? Obviously you're gonna agree with him, man. But that's what we got, man. Hopefully we win this game Saturday, man, coming up. And go faithful, go Niners, baby. Peace.